Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of TokYo-Yo. My name is T. So as you're going to notice, I'm actually in costume today. It's Halloween for you guys, but it's not Halloween in Japan anymore. But anyway, there's a reason for it. Anyway, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to get into a new series I'm going to be calling Reboot, in which I'm going to be going back to some of my older throws, my older reviews that I wasn't really satisfied with or that I feel my opinion has changed. And I'm going to take another look at them using the same metrics that I do all of my current videos with. The first one we're going to take a look at is the prescription. We're going to go back and check and see if my original diagnosis was correct. I know that some of this information will be rehashed from the original review, but stay tuned, I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. So you're going to see here the shape is a very nice sloped O. You've got a really big gradient going up here, grooves on the inner rim to assist with finger grinds, and very nice kind of bell-shaped rims up here as well. In the cup you have very, very cool engravings here. You've got 3 different ones. In the center you have the side effect, a cut from the rim that stops before it reaches about halfway down into the center of the cup. The material is 1-Drop's Pyramat finish, which is really nice in all of its colors, really rich. Some people think the Pyramat doesn't grind really well. I think it grinds beautifully, and especially with these grooves, that really helps with that. And you're going to notice that I've half swapped black and green together. I did a deal with somebody on Reddit who very kindly sent me their half, so that's cool too. Because it's an organic shape, obviously it's designed to be extremely comfortable in the hand, and it does that very well. This is a very, very comfortable yo-yo. That may be the best part about it, in fact. And the groove fits your grinds really nicely too. As for the look, it's really, really classy. I think the grooves look really neat. I know these are based on an older 1-Drop design. I love the shape of this. I think the engravings are quite classy and understated. I like the way the side effect looks in this yo-yo with the shape as well. And just overall, I think it looks really nice. It looks great in solid colors, but I think the half swap looks really good too. You're also going to notice that the string I'm using today is the Notorious Ninja, which is one of my lines that I helped design with Jeremy over at Zipline Strings. And this one is particularly good with 1-Drop flow groove response. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go check that out. Plus it's super cool like a ninja, right? And who doesn't like ninja? Now, as far as the history of the prescription, if you'd like to know more about it, you can go check out my original review. That history hasn't changed. And also, you might want to go check out my TokYo-Yo talk that I did with Dr. B, aka Jonathan Best, who designed this yo-yo. He had a lot of really interesting things to say about it, and it's no better place to hear it than from the man himself, how he designed it and the ideas that went into it. Dr. B, aka Jonathan Best, is my favorite yo-yo player, and that's why I got this yo-yo in the first place. Now we're going to get into playability here, and this is where my opinion of the yo-yo has changed. Now that I've had more experience with it, when I first got it, I thought it was quite punishing, and I thought that the chill factor was kind of lent itself more to experienced players. As far as how this thing plays generally, it plays really well on the string. It's extremely nimble. This thing weighs in very, very light, and with the ultralight side effects that it comes with, I feel like it plays at pretty much its prime weight. If you like a heavier yo-yo, this one is probably not going to feel so comfortable for you, but I feel like you should play it ultralight because actually G2 Nate mentioned this, and I think he hit a really good point, which is that when you get a side effect, when you get a signature yo-yo, especially from 1-Drop, and it comes with side effects, I feel like you should play it, at least out of the box, you should play it how it came, just to kind of see how the original player, the person who designed it, intended it to be played. Of course, after that, the beauty is that you can change the side effects, but it's kind of nice to play with ultralights because you kind of feel how Dr. B designed it and how he wanted it shipped. Because of the lightness, because of the shape, because it's a kind of organic feel, it's very comfortable to throw around, and it is very, very easy to put where you want it. It's easy to redirect as well. If you feel like you want to change direction quickly, this is a really, really good yo-yo for that. You can barely feel it when it hits the string. It's so super light. Any string hits you have are just going to be really comfortable. You're barely going to notice it. This thing grinds really well, as I said, because of this really nice groove in here. I suppose that having the grooves in there means there's less friction with your skin. That would make sense to me, at least. You can get some finger spins on this. I've gotten one or two. They're not going to be the best, and they're going to spin out pretty quick. You're not going to find the engravings interfering at all. It is going to be a little bit tough once your finger starts to hit the side effect, but before that, you can kind of orbit it around, and even once it's in the inner cup too, it can kind of orbit a bit before it spins out. So as long as you can get in a bind before that, you're going to be okay. One thing that really helps with the binds too is that the response, as I've mentioned before, flow groove is in this yo-yo, and it plays extremely well with flow groove, especially with the lightness. This is probably one of the best responding yo-yos that I have. I mentioned that the Duncans respond really well, but the original yo-yo that made me notice how well things respond, and you can watch the original review, is the Prescription. As well as that, I've actually replaced the bearing. I think I might have mentioned in my original that I had put in a centering bearing and I thought it played better. I actually don't agree with that anymore, and the more I play one-drop yo-yos, the more I find that when you change the bearing out, it actually, I feel, it makes the yo-yo not as smooth. A lot of one-drops, especially side effect yo-yos, play smoother with the flat bearing in. That's just my opinion. And then once you've taken the bearing out and you've kind of detuned the side effect, it's a little more challenging to get the side effect yo-yos back to like a perfect 100% smoothness. And I found that a lot of times when you get a side effect yo-yo, they're not always as smooth as they can be right when you get them. So there's going to be some tuning in there. So I would recommend, if you do pick this up, just go ahead and leave the flat bearing in there. I think it plays more interestingly that way. Now, what I mentioned in the last review too is I felt like it wasn't that stable. And actually, I've kind of changed my feeling on that. I think I was a really sloppy player before, and I still am for sure. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm finding that I'm really watching my playing a lot more now, and now that I know how to make adjustments, I'm finding that it's way less punishing than I thought it was before. And because of that, I found it a lot more fun to play as well, because I don't feel like it's punishing me so much. I feel like it's kind of rewarding smoothness and rewarding variety in play. I feel like it's a lot more of an interesting yo-yo to throw, and that's something Jonathan Best mentioned in our interview, was that he wanted something that was flexible, I think is the word he used. When you can get past the lightness and the fact that you may feel like it's not stable at first, I really think that's something you just have to get over. It's just as unique of a organic throw as just about any other O shape, and I feel like among one-drops throws, it's especially unique. Anyway, let's get into pros and cons of the one-drop Prescription. The comfort of this yo-yo is really strong, as I mentioned. It just fits so well in the hand, you can't beat it for comfort. It looks really cool too. I do like the half swap that I've got going on, but even if you don't have that, it looks really nice in all of its colors and all of its splashes. There's some pretty awesome splashes for this. It grinds really well, not only because of the Pyramat, which I feel like is really grindable, but also because of these grooves. They really help your finger grinds. With the weight and the way the weight is distributed, I feel like it's very easy to move around. I feel like it's an extremely nimble yo-yo. As for cons, I think the only thing that everyone always mentions, and I just feel like it bears mentioning just because someone may be watching this channel for the first time, the side effects are going to need tuning. I've only gotten a couple of one-drops that were dead smooth out of the box, and I've definitely never gotten a side effect yo-yo that was dead smooth out of the box. I've always had to do a little bit of tuning with my side effect yo-yos. My Gauntlet, my Vanguard, and my Top Deck are all really smooth, but those also have tapped axles, so with side effects, you have a little bit more of a variation going on with balance in the yo-yo. One thing that's not really a pro or a con, it could go either way, is the lightness. If you don't like light yo-yos, this is going to be a little bit tricky for you to get used to. All right, let's get into our last section of this video. Who's the one-drop Prescription for? I think the Prescription is for somebody who's looking for something a little more specialized. If you're getting into one-drop for the first time, something like a Benchmark may be a little bit more familiar for you. But I feel like once you've gotten used to their vibe and what they're all about and flat bearings, that kind of stuff, and once you see the style that Jonathan Best has, I think you're going to understand a lot more what the Prescription is and how it is more specialized. But I think it does take a little getting used to. So if you get a chance, what I would do is throw it around in a shop first and see how you feel about it. Anyway, I hope that was interesting or fun, or it taught you something new or something, I don't know. If you guys want to see more of these, let me know. I'm not going to be going back and re-reviewing a whole bunch of stuff, only the stuff that I feel really needs to be looked at again, because either I didn't know what I was talking about, which I still don't, or I feel like my opinion has changed, if that makes sense. Anyway, boys and girls, thanks so much for watching today. Thanks for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. Go check out TokYo-Yo Talk, the podcast feed, or the videos. Take a listen to TokYo-Yo Talk Gaiden, where I talk with my wife about Japanese mythology, ghosts, monsters. That was a lot of fun. Take care. Happy Halloween. Have a nice day. Sayonara. And I ain't afraid of no ghosts.